You already know automation can save you time. Everybody knows this, right? But there's 1,000 tools out there. So which ones actually move the needle? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 automations. I call them triggers that save me over 20 hours a week. And they help me like kind of go away for about 2 weeks. And my business did not skip a beat. So stick around to the end. And I'm going to share with you what changed everything forever when I finally stopped being the bottleneck in my business. Have you ever thought about that with yourself? Maybe a bottleneck in your business? It does happen. We don't mean for it to happen. I'm Brett from brettcpayne.com. And what I do is I help business owners like you build scalable systems so that you and your business can grow without you being like chained to the inbox. That's the worst. So let's talk about the automations that gave me back my time, which is what you need back also. And I did not have to sacrifice results. Again, I call them triggers because they trigger freedom in my life is what they do. Trigger number 1 is the no-show slayer. I used to lose hours chasing down missed calls and forgotten meetings. I had one today. The guy didn't show up. I don't know why. Now I have an automation that takes care of that thing. So I'm not texting and calling and chasing. I don't ever want to chase people. But the automation I have, it's going to detect when somebody doesn't show up for a meeting, and then it's automatically going to send a follow-up to them. We time it out a little bit, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. It's going to give them an opportunity to reschedule with me. We do it by text and email. And then it's going to log all of that into my CRM so I know what's happening, right? So by doing that, I don't just save time, but also we save the sale. So the guy that didn't meet with me today, he runs a company where he, what do you call it? Like when stuff floods and he has to go there and rescue people, right? And the message that went out to him was, hey, I know that you could be out there saving somebody right now, so that's totally fine. But here's my info. I'm going to be doing a couple other things. Get back with me when you can, and we're going to rebook this thing. So that's my first trigger to freedom. My second trigger to freedom are the lead intakes that feel like really personal. It's not manual, right? So that lead is coming in. I want them to be personal. So here's how we made new leads feel really seen, and we'd have to really lift a finger. So here's what we automated. The form capture, where it came from, we gave a personalized follow-up that uses their name. And if you capture the right information, for instance, if you ask like what city they're in, or it may be like how soon you want to get started, it could be some random piece of information. You can kind of integrate that into the personalized follow-up. And then the other thing that we do is we assign that to the right person. So when the lead comes in, they don't always come to me. It doesn't just sit in oblivion. Remember, if something doesn't have a date or a person assigned to it, it's a task that will never get done. So you always want to assign it to the right person. And then also there's a dashboard that gives visibility for the whole team so we can see who those leads are, who they're assigned to, and what step they are in the pipeline. And it feels like really concierge onboarding. That's what we want it to feel personal, right? But it runs on autopilot. It's the big concern that I have when people fill out forms, they ask for information, they do a lead ad on Facebook, they do something on Instagram, it's on your website, they respond to an email, and then they get some kind of generic thing. And I don't know what you're like, but when I get those, I'm just kind of like, like they didn't really try that hard. I'd rather them say something very personal to me. Now, at the beginning, you can't always do that, right? But you can find pieces that you know over time that you're always asking them. So it may be particularly about their city. If you've got a business that works in multiple cities, you might reference their city. That's important. But how do you get that information? It's got to be in the form. It might be about their age. It might be about something they're particularly dealing with, how interested they are in something. It could be a number of different things. But if you can collect a data point in the form or the email or whatever, then you can integrate that into the message back, and it sounds a lot more personal. Here's the other thing that I always do. When I email people back, the headlines or texts always include that it's Brett. And I always say that I'm from Springfield, Missouri, because I want people to go, oh, I actually know where he's at. And if they want to Google me, they can Google me, which I love, right? So any kind of personal touch you can do. And again, that is all automated. And that is in my trigger number 2, my trigger to freedom. Trigger number 3 is the client kickoff in one click. I want to have a client kickoff in one click. We used to kind of cobble these things together, right? Like you get manual documents and project folders and welcome emails and Zoom links and like all this stuff coming back at people. And I'm like, I just get lost. I get lost. I can't imagine how they would. What do? We've got one form. When they become a client of ours, We've got one form that triggers everything. It's going to trigger the folder creation. It's going to trigger the Slack channel that has to be spun up for them. It's going to trigger an email that has to be sent to them. It's going to trigger tasks that have to be assigned to my staff to help support what they're getting. And then also there are going to be Loom videos that are kind of standardized that we embed in a page for our particular client. So as soon as they become a client of ours, a form is filled out, and then based on that information, we're able to send out these automations. What used to take like 45 minutes, it literally takes one click now. So let me ask you, which task do you do every week that you know could be automated? It might be every day, right? Because you just get to that point, you're like, I'm just doing it. Maybe you've done it for 5 years, right? But what is that thing every week that you know, if you just gave some thought and some energy to it, and if you had the right tools, it could be automated? And if you did that, imagine how much time it would save. And even the, not just time, but like the weight on your brain, right? Just thinking about what has to be done. Will you do me a favor and drop that in the comments? Because I want to give you some ideas, and I will do it right in the comments for you. It'll be me personally, okay? It will not be automation, I promise. It'll be me. Trigger number 4 for freedom for me is the financial pulse. I want this to be an automated trigger. This one changed how I lead, right? As a chief executive officer, as a leader, my job is to cause other people to execute on my ideas, but I have to know the pulse of where things are. So every Friday, here's what I get. I get a summary email, and it shows me the cash in, cash out. It shows me the top invoices that are due. It shows me my clients that have renewed. It shows me clients that have dropped off. It shows me some proposals that have been sent out. They're kind of open. No one signed them yet. And then also I get a payroll preview, so I know kind of what to plan for when payroll rolls around on Monday. I'm not chasing down finance. I'm not wondering where we stand. It just shows up. I scan it in seconds. It gets done. Voila, like that. I don't know how to spell voila. I'm sure it's fancy. Trigger number 5, document once, delegate forever. If you watch my videos or you watch any kind of my content, you're going to see me talk about this a lot. Document once, delegate forever. This isn't a tool. It's a mindset. I used to write SOPs in Google Docs and hope and pray that someone is going to follow these things. Now I don't do that. I just hit record. I've done it twice today on new things that I thought of this morning and I knew we could execute on. I knew I had the staff, but I had to think through the entire process on exactly how to build 2 things. Actually, I did one big one yesterday for something I'm super excited about in terms of live in-person events that I'm going to have with people here in my city on these kinds of things that we're talking about here, as well as AI. I do a lot of AI stuff. And then the one from today was actually a service that I've already been doing for a long time, but it really hasn't been taken to market at mass. And I put that in place today. That's the last time I'm ever going to do that. I gave it to Hannah, and she's going to take care of it for me. Aubrey's jumping in on that as well. They're going to work these things out. So the way that I do that is I get all the ideas together, then I record either on my phone by my voice, so I can get the ideas out. I can get it transcribed. I can use AI to give me an outline of what I just said and write me an SOP, or sometimes I will use Loom. I did both of those interchangeably today for different things. Loom, I love that service. It's free. And I can record a screencast of how to put these things together. And my different staff members have those kinds of things. So always use kind of a combination of those things. Your voice memos, a Loom, definitely run it through AI or ChatGPT. Use a prompt for that if you can. And I just drop that into our system. And it's a living training tool. They're working on it right now as I'm recording this. They're hammering away at 5 different things. If you want to steal this shortcut, all you have to do is grab my SOP Builder guide. It's totally free. It'll help you build systems that your team actually uses, right? You don't have to type a word to get these things done. I put the link in the description for you. These automations or these triggers to freedom, they didn't just save me time. They give me back control is what happens, because I know what's happening in all these places. I'm not being reactive. I'm being proactive. So now I can work on the business, not in it. And you can do the same. I can tell you from experience this morning, the creative things that I had to go through. And by the way, I didn't do that in my office. I did that at home, and I did it with my phone, and I did it with a screen with ChatGPT. And I talked and worked it out back and forth for about 3 hours. And in 3 hours, I did what typically would take somebody, I don't know how long it would take them, months to put together or whatever. But I did it all not for the sake of me building all of these things, but for me being the visionary for what has to happen and then giving the SOPs and the resources to the people on my staff who are going to make them happen and bring customers in to talk with me about various different things. So again, you can grab my SOP Builder guide to start delegating faster than ever. It's how I scaled up. It's how I don't burn out. It's how I'm going to go to the pool with my 12-year-old a little bit later. I was going to play golf, but it's like 105 degrees here, so I'm not doing that. The link is in the description for you. Let's automate what drains you so that you can focus on what really moves the needle. That's what you want. That's what I love doing. I want to help you do it.